You can get really heavy tones out of it too. So this is my pedal board. I probably spent over $2,500 on this whole thing. It's come over time. It's not something I just bought online one day. It's like a lot of years of research and a lot of hard work in testing out things. And the reason I built this pedal board was I wanted something to cover every situation I have and just to be able to be versatile and have really good sounding stuff. So the whole pedal board is controlled by the Boss MS3, which is a multi-effects unit. It lets you isolate 3 of your guitar pedals and turn them off whenever you want. It's really helpful to recall presets for songs. If you want one guitar pedal on the chorus and then you want one for the outro, you can just change between them and never have to remember. It really frees up your mental space to play better. First, it goes into my Strymon Mobius, which is a modulation unit, and it has presets in it. You can preset Midi for it, so you can recall patches. Then it goes into the front of the Boss MS3 multi-effects unit, which has 3 selectable loops, and it controls everything on the pedal board. In the first loop, what I have is a boost pedal, which is the Jackson Audio Prism, and it has a tone cut and a body cut, which is the bass cut, so there's a high and low cut on there, and 3 different types of boost and 3 different levels of boost. It's super versatile, and it sounds great. In the second loop, I have the Chase Bliss Audio Brothers Overdrive. So the Chase Bliss Audio Brothers is a presettable, that's a word, presettable overdrive pedal. So you can have any different combination of overdrives and you can just change them throughout the song for a verse or a chorus. So in the third loop, I have my compressor pedal by Keeley, which is called the Compressor Pro. And it has all these advanced features on it, so it works like a real studio compressor and not just a one knob compressor for guitar. So then it goes into the effects loop of my amp, which is basically after all the distortion. So then I ran out of spots for my loops, and I needed 2 more loops because I was playing stuff and I had to keep stepping on an extra pedal if I wanted a guitar solo, and I'm like, I just want one button. That's easy. It's a GLab Midi loop. There's not really a name for it. So, and if there is, go look it up. So what it does is it allows me to send a message to this to turn pedal 1 on and pedal 2. So they're in my effects loop. The first one is an MXR MC401 boost line driver. I've had this. This is actually my first pedal that I ever bought, and I just don't want to get rid of it because it's simple. It's just a boost pedal. It just does that. That's all it does. I use it right now to just level match my guitars. So if I bring 2 guitars that one is louder, I can just use this as a matching between presets. Then my other pedal, which is my actual good boost pedal, is the Cochrane Tim, which is a super clean boost that allows you to cut away all the harsh frequencies. And there's another drive side on here for even more gain. Back into the Strymon Mobius, which is the post, which is in the effects loop. So when I was saying that earlier, it means one side of it goes in front of the amp and the other side goes behind the effects loop. Then my Strymon Timeline, which is my first big purchase for guitar pedals. This can preset all amazing delays. It's so good. It's just an amazing delay pedal. There's nothing better. There's nothing. You can't beat this pedal. It's the Strymon Timeline. It's the best pedal that you can get for the money. Now, a lot of people try and copy this pedal, and everyone goes, oh, it's almost as good as, it's just as good as that Strymon, but cheaper. It's not Strymon. The Strymon Timeline is the best pedal on my pedal board. So after that, it goes into the Strymon BigSky, which really has no competition. Absolute best reverb pedal. Strymon, sponsor me. It has amazing reverbs and spacey textures, and it has amp reverb, it has plate reverb, it has everything else. So then that goes into my amp. Strymon, sponsor me. And I have these 2 other pedals. It's a Dunlop mini expression pedal, and I can use that to control the volume or control one of the parameters of a preset. So if I want something to speed up or slow down, I can do that with here. I can use it as a wah pedal. And it also works as a volume pedal for my MS3. So again, another example of something that can cover a lot of ground. So this is the Boss FS7 foot switch, and basically you can set each of these to do something on here. I use it to change my presets, so it just scrolls through, or I'll set it to do a special thing in the song, like to trigger an effect or a delay or a pitch change. And I'll show an example of that later. So it's all powered by the Friedman power grid, which has 10 spots of power. So the first pedal is the Jackson Audio Prism, which is a boost, and it has a couple different types. It's got transparent, it's got an amp boost, which is supposed to replicate how an amp sounds, and it's got a treble boost on it, which is really cool, and it's got low, medium, and high, which gives you a lot of variable levels of boost. I figured I would get one that does everything, you know? So here's without, but here's with a boost. And here's the lower boost. So then here's the amp side. And then here's a treble boost. Sounds really awesome. It sounds really good in front of a Marshall amp, which I'm not using one right now, but it has that classic Black Sabbath tone if you want to use that. So then in loop 2 I have the, I already said this, but so then the Chase Bliss Brothers pedal is, you can preset the fuzz, boost, or drive, and it has two sides, A and B, different levels of gain. There's a million videos on this. It's the guy's a genius that he can make this work, because it's an analog overdrive pedal, but you can MIDI preset it, which is digital control over it. So the cool thing is if you wanted to do one volume for the verse and one for the chorus, you could have different volumes and you can just preset it and not even have to mess with the knob. It can do so many different things. I've used it for pit orchestra, and I've been able to program it for each of the different songs, each of the choruses and all this stuff, and you can recall everything so that you have the same tone every time. It's really cool. So low gain overdrive, like a... So that's like a cool fuzz that they have. And then their drive sound, it's the same volume, but this is just a toggle switch. And then it's just got a straight up boost. So that's the Chase Bliss. Stupid. So then I have the Keeley Compressor Pro, which does amazing studio compression. The cool thing about it is I've used it for another video. You can mix a whole song through this thing. It's got all the controls of a regular compressor and not just compression with one knob, and you can't control the attack and release. This thing is awesome for that. You can do the makeup gain, and it's just, if you know how to work a compressor for studio gear, you can use this and it'll make complete sense. So I chose this because it just, I don't want a bitch ass compressor. Not gonna put that in. So without it, it's kind of like... So without it, it's kind of like a... And here's with it. It's really good for funk, like... That kind of cool shit. So then here's the MXR MC401 line driver. It's my first pedal that I ever got. Just straight up a boost. I like to keep a boost in the effects loop because it drives the entire amp instead of just driving the front end, so it distorts the front end of the amp. There's a million forums on this. I think it's really cool to do boost in the effects loop. it kind of adds like another channel to your amp. You can have a preset volume for boosts. It's really nice. People will tell you to just, it doesn't matter, like just try it in the effects loop. See what happens. You might have like a new side to your amp. Sounds better for solos. I like them in the effects loop. So without the pedal, it's just like a... that kind of thing. So then I have the Paul Cochrane Tim in the effects loop in my second loop of the GLab pedal, and it's the best boost pedal of all time because it allows it to be clean until a certain point, and then you have the bass and treble knob to also cut whatever harsh frequencies you don't want in it, and that allows you to just dial in exactly the amount, and you can just get a great sounding boost for solos. If you use it in front of the amp, it sounds awesome as well. I just chose to use it in the effects loop because I wanted a really good control over my solos. Now I gotta fucking like solo, you know? Just sounds awesome. Without it, just... You can get really heavy tones out of it too. So on the Boss MS3 you can actually control the pitch too, and you can control it with one button, and you can tell anything else like the Strymon Mobius to do something like drop the speed of whatever you're doing. So you can kind of create like a fake like tape effect. So here's what it would sound like. Nope. So here's what it would sound like. So here's an example. It's kind of like a whammy, Digitech whammy pitch shift, but I've done it where I've programmed it for certain songs just on one button so you can instantly do the effect. It makes a lot more sense like this. Like the Black Keys song, Lonely Boy, like... So my Strymon Timeline is a delay pedal, and it has all these different types of delays you can choose between. If you don't know what a delay pedal sounds like, that's it. And it's really cool. I mean, it was always popular to have delays, and kind of even more now, but there's famous like U2 kind of sounding like... that kind of thing. Too many delays to get into. It would just be a delay of... I can't even make a joke. It was so bad I couldn't even say it. Strymon's an incredible company. They have a bunch of videos on their different presets on there. Just go watch their videos on YouTube. So the Strymon Mobius has this feature where you can set the effects before your amp or after the effects loop. So what that does is it allows you to put something like a chorus or a tremolo before distortion, which might sound better, or you can put it afterwards instead if you have a lot of distortion and you don't want to have all this pitch shifting going on while you're distorting it. It helps clean up how much gain is going into the amp. It's one of those things, just try it out. Sometimes it sounds better before, sometimes it sounds after, but it's really good to have the option. I like them in the effects loop more because then I can distort whatever I'm using, but sometimes if you want a wah pedal, you want it before everything. There's just effects like that, and here it is. I don't know. So here's an example of it. It's kind of subtle, but it's really nice to have the option. Again, try it out. Try it out. So here's before the effects loop. And then here's after the effects loop. So if the effect is pre-effects loop, it goes into the front of the amp and hits the front end before the effects loop. There's really no other way to say that. There kind of is, but... So then the Strymon timeline is just beautiful. It's just... So like you can do an emulation of a Fender reverb tank, you can have a bunch of... So then you can have emulations of different size rooms, which sounds amazing. You can have small or large or concert halls, everything in between. And then you can have big overblown reverbs that just sound incredible, and you can just do that whole church thing. I'll show you just some examples of how I use them with my own music, like... For the verse of a song, and then for the chorus. So that's an example of how the Chase Bliss is used in two different ways for the verse, and then the chorus, it has a heavier sound. So then I use the MS3 to control effects too, and it syncs everything up so you can get this kind of thing, like a... You can create stuff that doesn't even sound like a guitar, and it's really amazing sounding, and you can always have the same consistent sound. I have the auto swell into a chorale kind of reverb because I made this song on an iPad without guitar, and I wanted to kind of recreate what the sound was. It was like... So it sounds amazing, and it's something I wouldn't be able to do without all these extra steps that I took. I don't know, I'm just kind of just playing. So that is the entire pedal board that I have. It is insane. It just does everything I want it to. I can't fit anything else. I don't want anything else. It's a lot going on. I'm glad I have everything. I built it up piece by piece over the years. Done a lot of research and a lot of hard work to make this come together. But it does everything I want it to, and I'm happy with it. So if this makes sense, then you might be as crazy as me. But if not, ask any questions. Put them in the comments, because I could make videos on every single one of these pedals. They would be 20 minutes long. They do so much. They sound really good. They deserve more time than I did, but it's just a simple rundown. So I put the link to my band Mind Palace in the description below. I use all the pedals for recording. Everything has gone through that, and my Dr. Z Cure amp. Go check us out. Give us a listen. Let me know if you can hear the tones I'm talking about, because some of them are exactly what I used. And thanks for coming by and checking out my channel.